What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gooner channel, and tonight we have done our first bit of business in this transfer window with the signing of Kai Havertz from Chelsea for 50 million What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Gooner channel, and well, it's been confirmed we have made our first signing of the transfer window. Perhaps not the player any of us expected it to be, and perhaps not the player that's really exciting for many of us, but Kai Havertz has joined from Chelsea for a reported 65 million with 50 million up front and a further 15 million in add-ons. Now, I've done a couple of videos, been very vocal about this. This is not the signing I wanted. But over the last couple of days, I've listened to and watched a lot of people making some really good points about Kai Havertz. Points that include the fact that whilst he was still in Germany, he was seen as one of the best prospects they had. The fact that Arteta has obviously something in mind for this player and really holds him in high regard, and he's now seeing this as an opportunistic signing that we may not get a chance to sign a player of his quality again. Comparisons by Thierry Henry to Robin van Persie, and overall just the idea that because it hasn't worked for him at Chelsea in a very turbulent time for Chelsea doesn't necessarily in of itself mean that this is not a good player. I think if we're going out to get him as a forward, as a goal scorer, this may not make a lot of sense to anybody. But look, whatever my personal opinion is, I am happy to back Arteta and know that he has something in mind for Havertz. Could be as an 8. He's incredibly versatile across the front. He would be and will be our tallest player, and that gives us opportunities to play a different kind of football. And he has scored roughly a third of his goals with his head. So from being really underwhelmed, I'm now prepared to go, welcome to the club, Kai Havertz. And I have only good things, and I hope for only good things for you in the next 4 years of your contract, and then hopefully beyond. I think overall, if this had been our 5th or 6th signing of the transfer window, I'd be thrilled with it. I think part of the problem here is that we know that he doesn't solve any of the problems that we have. And it's not necessarily that I've changed my mind, but I do feel like we owe it to him to welcome him to the club. And look, if I knew a fraction of what Mikel Arteta knows about football, I wouldn't be doing this podcast. I wouldn't be doing this video. I'd be actually managing Arsenal myself. So, welcome to the club, and I'd love to hear your comments on this one. It is a done deal. The next bit of news that came out today was that İlkay Gündoğan, perhaps super unsurprisingly, has chosen to go to Barcelona. This is pretty much what we predicted all the way along. Man City just couldn't offer him the same sort of lucrative contract that Barcelona could, and I think he felt that to go out at the top now, rather than sign for an extra 1-year extension, made perfect sense. I think it does. It is a shame that we're not getting a player of his ability, but something I would say on this is that, you know, he came good at the end of the season, but we really are going to need a player that's going to be able to come good all the way through, and particularly at the start of the season. So maybe it's not the worst thing that we miss out on İlkay Gündoğan. But the other story that's growing is speculation, and I think I'm an outlier in this one. I don't feel as worried about this as many people seem to. It's the story that Thomas Partey is very firmly considering a move to Saudi Arabia, and Arsenal are expecting a bid to come in. There's also speculation that there will be bids coming in from Italy. Now, I think a lot of people are wondering what Arsenal are thinking of letting Xhaka go to Leverkusen and Thomas Partey, because, you know, losing to 2 stalwarts of your midfield before the start of a new season when you're hoping to challenge makes little or no sense. But I think that overlooks a couple of things. Firstly, I think this is being driven by Thomas Partey. I think he's decided he wants to leave. Over the lifespan of this channel, I have deliberately not talked about the personal issues surrounding Thomas Partey. Now, the reason for that is a really good one, and that is that in this country, we are all innocent until proven guilty. I know there are lots of things flying around social media about Thomas Partey, but I cannot bring myself to discuss things that might be conjecture, might be made up, might be wholly untrue. But certainly, Mark Goldbridge brought this up and mentioned that it doesn't look good in the optics of Arsenal sticking by him while they're in a title challenge and then wanting him out the door as soon as possible. I don't think that's entirely the case, but I do feel that that may have played a part, that what he's been through in the last year here is perhaps motivating his move away. The reality is he's the other side of 30 now. He fell away pretty dramatically. That could have been an injury. First 2/3 of the season, he was outstanding, a really important part of our team. But the idea that is troubling a lot of people is that we would lose Xhaka and we would lose Partey, and then 2 new players would have to come in and learn a system which has taken our existing players a long time to work out. I think this overlooks a fact that we don't talk about enough. We have a tendency to look back at how we played last year and assume that's how we're going to play this year. I'm not convinced of that. And I think this comes back to the Kai Havertz issue and the kind of players that we have. I think Arteta is planning a slightly different style for the season to come. We're still going to see inverted fullbacks. And that's why the stories have been circulating as much as they have for the last 4 or 5 days that Jurrien Timber may be on his way to Arsenal. Now, he's a hugely talented centre-back who can play right-back. He's playing at Ajax at the moment. Did a video on him yesterday. We have apparently offered 30 million and Ajax, who we know can be stubborn in dealing with them for Martinez, and that didn't work out. But news emerged today that there is actually a clause in his contract which is activated in the next couple of weeks, which sets an exact fee for his release clause. And I think Arsenal are waiting to see what that is. It's unlikely to be the 50 million that Ajax are asking for. So we could see a buyout clause triggered by Arsenal for Jurrien Timber. He certainly ticks all the boxes. He's supposed to be quite similar to Ben White. I think if you look at our transfer window at the moment, if we can go back and put in an offer for Declan Rice, which David Solomon does accept, then if you're looking at Rice, Havertz and Timber in, there's also a lot of speculation about Lavia. Then I think this window starts to look like the kind of window we needed it to fix some problems. We don't, I think, really need to be focusing on getting more goals. Our goals are well spread out across the team. Who knows what a fit Jesus could do for a whole season? Who knows if we could maybe get Kai Havertz scoring those goals that he hasn't been scoring at Chelsea. But overall, Saka's hat-trick the other night, with Martinelli only getting better, Odegaard's goal contribution could be improved on, and an Emile Smith-Rowe brought back into the team. I think we're going to be doing all right for goals. The big area that we need to strengthen is actually in leaking goals, as we have done down the left-hand side. Zinchenko as an inverted fullback does sometimes leave us exposed. We know that Kivior is being trained to play there. But the other thing that has come out this transfer window, which I think is hugely surprising to me, was that actually it looks like Arteta sat down with Tierney and has told him that he wants him to stay. And Arteta has a way of speaking to players that they seem to listen and love him. And so it could be that we're well covered on the left. If we bring in Jurrien Timber on the right, we have good cover on the right. We also have Tomiyasu who can play left and right. Speaking of players who can play left and right, I did wonder when I heard that Ilkay Gundogan had gone to Barcelona. Remember, Barcelona said that they were making him the focus, that they couldn't go for João Cancelo and him. So this leaves João Cancelo's career still up in the air. I don't think it's looking like he is high on Arteta's list of priorities to bring in, but certainly he's an incredibly accomplished player. Now, if we are able to sell Thomas Partey for 30 or 40 million and get his 200,000 a week off the books, this gives us more fighting power. But today, the big news obviously is that Kai Havertz is an Arsenal player. Expect to see him in a shirt tomorrow. We're preparing a third bid for Declan Rice. I'm just going to be so glad when we're not instantly waking up in the morning looking to see if there's any news on Declan Rice. I talked about this yesterday. Just to remind everybody, my position is that when you're saying that Arsenal should just go and get it done, I don't think it's as simple as that. I honestly think if we turned around now and offered 110 million to West Ham, they might still ask for more. I don't really believe that Man City are coming in for him because they already would have done that. But the other news that came out was that Calvin Phillips is not planning to go anywhere. So really they're well stocked in that position and it's unclear that they could match that. Anyway, Love to hear your thoughts on Kai Havertz, and particularly interested in what you think about Thomas Partey leaving. The obvious concern is losing Xhaka and Partey in one summer means we're going to have to go out and get more midfielders. But let me know, and also if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. And just before I go, just to let you know, there is a live cast tomorrow on Football Dad's Armies channel. I will provide a link in the description. Please join us. I had a lot of fun the last 2 weeks doing this, and hope to see you there. Be lucky and lots of love.